Hi, I want to welcome all of you to OnDeck's Facebook Live featuring the one, the only Ramon Ray.
Hey everybody.
So excited that you're here with us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One of the great things about working with small business owners is that they love to learn and love to ask questions. And my favorite part about my role here as the content manager is that I get to help educate business owners and make sure that all their questions are being answered.
I love it.
So I just want to start off by, if you could just tell something about how you got to where you are today.
Sure.
I know that you got a lot of fans, and we're gonna get you some more.
Awesome. And Ariel, thank you so much. A big thanks to the OnDeck team for hosting this. It's really, as you said, it's awesome for me to educate business owners. I am a small business. I have a team of about 5. I'm probably leaving somebody out, but about 5, and I love what I do. So in essence, I've started 4 companies. 2 I currently run, smallbiztechnology.com, which is an online resource about all things technology and business. Smart Hustle Magazine, which is a magazine all about the stories of entrepreneurship, many people who are like customers of OnDeck. And we provide content. We educate business owners. That's the essence of what we do. So think of Inc., Entrepreneur, the great magazines and content sites. That's in essence what I do. How do I make my money? I work with large brands and help them better reach small businesses. So, and hang out with cool people like Ariel and educate. So that's in essence what I do. I play piano. I love burnt pancakes, bacon and eggs, and 2 glasses of cold milk on Saturday mornings.
That sounds great. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day as well.
Mine too.
So
today I had an exception to that. I had more like bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. So with orange juice, which is a secondary favorite I wanted to.
All right, we'll go there. So just to start us off,
Sure.
What is one thing that you could share with the business owners watching today? Something that you just learned along the way that you think every business owner should know?
Yeah, it's a good question. And there's so many things we could say, Ariel, but I think that for one is to go narrow, narrow, narrow. And I may repeat some of these things depending on how we go along. I'm just speaking from my heart. So I think really it's to go narrow. Sometimes I find that as business owners, we can say, you know what, I want to, who is this watch for? Anybody who needs to tell time. That's not the case. Maybe my buddy Ariel here, this may not be the watch for her, or she may not want to have a watch. She probably wants to keep track of time. So I think the aspect of going niche, Seth Godin often says that, don't be afraid to go narrow, narrow before you expand. If that helps to make sense.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I think when you're starting out a business, or even if you're making a change in your business, knowing exactly who you're trying to reach is going to help solve a lot of problems along the way.
Absolutely. When you go too big, I find that you can't serve everybody. You think you're serving everybody, but it's too big. You can't please everybody, and then you're disappointed. So.
Exactly. So in terms of growing a business, there are so many ways that you can go about it, from marketing to sales. When a business owner is trying to make that decision, where do you think is the best place to start?
Sure. And listen, I wish I had a case study like a business right here. We could think, they're a fashion retailer and they're doing this. We can't. It's me and you. So I'm going to make up some broad strokes. I think, again, you've already started your business now. You got the basics done, LLC or S Corp. You got your bank account, which is, for some of you need to do that. But you have that already done. How do you grow? I think a few areas. One, I found in the school of hard knocks. I think, and I've only started recently saying this, Ariel, because I normally would say sales and marketing, other things, which I'll touch on. But I think your operations. You can't grow unless something is systematized, that you're able, listen, I'm working for Ariel's sweater company. And if she doesn't have an operations procedure, how to do sales, for example, I can't grow into a new role, if that makes sense. You can't hire new people because you're always reinventing the wheel. So, and you can probably help me say this better, but somehow operations, and my point is systems, procedures, best practices, training, so that you're running like a machine is what I'm trying to say. So I think that as you're growing, your pizza shop owner, if there's a certain way that your cashier is supposed to do cashiering, then you need to make sure that you have that written down. So I think that's number one thing. Hopefully we'll touch on sales and other things, marketing, which I'll touch on. But I think if I had to think of the one thing for growing companies, man, operations, get that down pat.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting insight, because a lot of people would just go straight into sales or marketing, or the combination of the both. But it's really hard to do one or both of those things without knowing how you're going about doing it.
Exactly.
But moving on from there, when you're talking about sales and marketing, how, some businesses it's so easy to do, it's easier to do sales, it's easier to do marketing.
Sure.
How do you make that decision?
Absolutely, good point. So let's talk about both. So for me, I find that marketing, that's my jam, that's my favorite. You can see me just coming in a lot, and yours as well. So I love marketing, I'm a marketer. And I love the aspect of educating customers about how you can help solve their problem. If you're Great Adventure and you're providing fun for kids, educate moms and dads, hey, it's Saturday, sunny, how can you spend time with your family? By coming to Great Adventure. You know, so you're educating.
Yeah.
Sales is more so, I think, and it's important as well, is how do you get people to buy? I think that's the sales aspect, meaning $2 off, 20% off. Kind of, sales and marketing are similar cousins, but one I think is more of a brand play educational, and one is really, we're going to move you along. So I think, listen, both are important. I think it really depends on what you're doing in the stage. Let's say you are a food business, maybe a common food business. Let's go back to pizza. I don't know why I like pizza a lot. You probably want to focus on sales. There's not too much education you need to do. Are you dreaming of pepperoni tonight? It's really get people in the door, have them buy a slice of pizza. Yeah. That makes sense in this small example. Maybe if you're a limousine company, let's say doing transportation from Newark Airport or Chicago or anywhere in the world, you still need to make a sale. But I think there you can do some more education. Busy, late at night, coming home from a party, you can take. So that makes sense, Ariel?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think what, to sum it up
Please.
Correctly, hopefully,
Yeah.
is know what your business does, and you'll be able to sort out which way is the right way for you to focus.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So if you're struggling to decide, can I focus on sales or can I focus on marketing? Which one do I do first? Just get back to the basics and really ask yourself the question, what do I do? Right. And then you can move on from there.
And I think by all things, I think every business has to have some degree of marketing for sure. Those of you who are stuck in the old school of just sales, that's good, but I think everybody needs to start and test some form of marketing. Of course, our jam would be social media in some way. It's the lowest, easiest to do. You can start with $25, $30 and just test. Should I do shaved head or should I do afro? Which one do people like more? You can test it and see. Or should I grow my hair out? I don't know.
I think you should grow your hair out.
We'll see.
So based on that, what you were just bringing up is that for social media, you can really do a campaign for pretty cheap.
Yeah.
With big businesses, corporations like OnDeck, we have big budgets, and it's not a struggle to decide, do we do this or do we do that? Right. It's how much of this and how much of that. With small businesses, like my husband has a small business, and we talk about all the time, like we only have a few $100s a month to spend on marketing. It's like, how are we spending that few $100s to get the most bang for our buck? And where do you see business owners really utilizing that money?
Absolutely. Am I allowed to shout out people here?
Totally.
So shout out to Steven, whoever you may be. Thank you for the thumbs up, and thanks for all of you watching. And if you have questions, take them. We may take them, we may not, but thank you for the engagement. We love seeing it, so it made me feel great. So I would ask, what was your question again? But I remember it now. So about deciding between how much to spend and how to leverage the power of social media, I think. Listen, I think there's a few ways to do it. I think one, focus on, as Ariel said, it's always good to know what you're trying to sell and do. That's important. Am I trying to sell this watch, sell a sweater, or do I want people just to sign up for my lead magnet? Some of you marketers may know those terms, like a free PDF. Just get them into my funnel. And you guys can Google these words if you're not sure what they are. We can dive into some of them. So that's one. Let's take something like Instagram. And you are a fashion company making amazing orange sweaters, let's say. You may want to do an Instagram campaign, everything about orange. Orange barrettes on dogs, orange paint, oranges, you follow me? It's a silly example, having some fun about all things orange, promoting that, and seeing how can I attract people who like orange and people who like fashion. Now you can start to drive them into your funnel and then start to sell them. So that's kind of how I see it, but I would say also test too, where's your audience at? I happen to not be on Snapchat. Let's say Ariel's business, with her and her husband, they find out most of their audience is on Snapchat. You may want to go for it. It just happens to not be where my audience is because they're business owners, often on LinkedIn. So that's kind of what I do. One, where's your audience at? Two, test and measure. Three, experiment. If you can't afford $5, $15, you need to reevaluate your business, I think. But if your business is any size, you can test it. So those are three things I'd say.
Yeah, I think one of the things that when talking with a lot of small business owners, they're so scared to test because they don't want to waste money.
Yes.
And when all your resources are so precious, that's, you know, it's something just good to say. Even just testing on Facebook or Instagram, it's you can test for $5.
Yeah.
It's not a big commitment, and you can really learn a lot with very little investment.
Absolutely, but just do it and do it and do it, and focus on educating too. Use social media to educate.
Yeah, we're big fans of education here. So business owners really are people who don't have a lot of time. That's something we've even did a study a couple years back, just the amount of time it takes business owners to fill out a loan application at a bank, something like 33 hours. And at OnDeck, it's minutes. And that was something that we really, really connected with us as marketers and as people who run a business, is really connecting the fact that business owners don't have time.
Correct.
So when you're saying, when you're saying to business owners, you have to do this sort of marketing and that sort of marketing, and you have to do this sale, you have to make those up, you know, this operations manual, like, what are some tools that you've used that's helpful to you to help you save some time and streamline some of your daily tasks?
So I will tell you the secrets that I use for my day-to-day, which you can't tell anybody. It's a secret. Just us in this room know. So one is, and talking to the smaller businesses, again, as Ariel said, if you have a larger company with 200, 300, 400 people, you're at a different size scale than those of us maybe with 1 to 10. But this works for all, and especially as individuals. So one, I have an administrative assistant. Now for half of you, that may be like, Ramon, that's easy. We have staff. For some of you who don't, who are growing, get help. Someone just to manage your calendar. Someone to do the things that you don't want to do or don't have the skill set to do. So get help, whether it's hiring a team or whatever it is. So for me, it's an executive assistant. Point two, to that point of hiring people, I think get a team. As your business grows, you may not have time to do cropping photos yourself. There's people who can do it better than you and cheaper than you. So get a team together. That's point two. Three, is fastidious a word? Does that mean like focused on? I like to use big words that I don't know what they mean. But anyways, let me think another word. I am focused, laser-like, on using a few tools. So I use a task management tool. The name doesn't matter, and I won't talk about the name, so the name is not relevant, but I use a task management tool to organize my day. So I forward my emails, BCC my emails, my team is assigned tasks. That's point three. I think four, delegate. That's important, Ariel, and I'm learning that. As you may know, I have a big event coming up, 8 November, Smart Hustle Conference. Listen, I delegate. I want to do things like this. So I have a team that's working right now on the event. So those 4 things. Yeah, I'd say delegate, get somebody to an admin, use some cool tools, learn to say no as well. I think that's a big way to get back time. So often we're like, okay, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. When it's okay to say, you know, Ariel, no, I just can't. That's kind of mean. Let me put it this way. You say, no, Ariel. You smile and say, I can't do it today. Or I say no. So I think those are a few things to boost productivity, because it's a common problem. The more time you have, the more you can grow your business.
Yeah, I think those are really great pieces of advice. And I think for business owners who are just starting out, the concept of having a team is a scary thing, because, you know, having overhead is scary.
It is.
Because you have a nut to cover every month. And that's something that those are really relatively simple, low-cost solutions to getting back a lot of time.
Absolutely.
So one of my favorite questions to ask people is, what are some of the key mistakes or just one key mistake you made along the way that you think would be helpful to share with business owners?
Absolutely, and I've made a lot. I think the glamour of social media gives us this image, which is nice sometimes, you know, that Ramon or Ariel have arrived, and I'm blessed that I had some success, you've had some success, but this has been a journey. So I always like to say that, because I think the lens, people are watching on video and social media, it's like, ooh, well, there's a lot of that's not ooh.
Absolutely.
But the success I have had, I think, some mistakes I've made, I think one of the biggest ones, and I can give an example, real life, of the result of this mistake, but it's not planning ahead. Now, there's many mistakes that can happen, but for me, I happen to be a shoot first, ask questions later, or fire then aim type person.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest mistake for my business. So I'm going to tell you what happened.
Sure.
I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at me, guys. You guys cannot be laughing at me right now, okay? Just keep a face serious face. So I do conferences. One of the things I do is, I have my events and things like this. So I said, you know what? I've done, 10 events, 8 events, whatever it was in the New York area. I can do an event in San Francisco because I'm Ramon Ray. So I booked a hotel or venue or something, got the cheap food and the signage, events. Not a lot of people came. So my point, yes, same thing I said, why not?
Come to see you?
No.
I'd fly across the country to see you.
Thank you, Ariel. But the point being is that I didn't think through it. I didn't plan. I can go on to details. But I think that's the best for me is planning, being thoughtful, and taking small baby steps. Maybe I should have had a meetup group in a breather space or something. You know what I mean? And had 10 people and testing it before trying to do the 5,000 person, event. So I think for me, it's not thinking ahead. And I would say also, and not just since we're in OnDeck's house here, but be an astute manager of your money. Be financially illiterate. And that's kind of another thing I'd say, which is a whole nother conversation, which you guys are expert on.
It is a conversation we can have another time, and we will. We talk about it all the time.
But for me, that's a mistake. Since I haven't done it, that's one thing that I ding myself. Ramon, be more financially aware. So. Yeah,
I think being aware, someone once said that as a business owner, if you don't know the number in your business bank account off the top of your head, you're doing something wrong.
So, that is so true.
And I can tell you, it's the funniest discussion I have when I get home with my husband's business. Is some days I'll just be like, hey, he'll just come up and be like, oh, I have this much money in my business checking account. I'm like, I didn't need to know that, but okay, thank you. But it's just so on his mind all the time. And as business owners, the finances should be on your mind all the time. And you can start to delegate out the other things. But really, and you can have an accountant, have a bookkeeper. But you need to know what they're doing so that if they're making a mistake or something's not right, you know that you can stop it before it gets.
So true. So true. Yeah, if you don't know, that's true, because you can't blame somebody else. Oh, my accountant, it was her fault, or they clicked the wrong button, whatever financial software you're using. It falls on you. The video, let me do that again. It falls on you. There we go. You. Yeah.
So we're starting to wrap up here at our Facebook Live, and we've so enjoyed having all of you with us today. Just Ramon, is there any last thought or piece of inspiration you could share with business owners out there?
Sure, yeah, a few things. I think one, and if it's okay, can I invite people to my 8 November?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So 8 November, I have a big event coming up, a Smart Hustle Small Business Conference, and you can just check it out at smarthustle.com/conference. Seth Godin will be there and many other speakers. So come, and if you type in OnDeck, capital ONDECK, into the little discount code and the event system that I have, you'll get a nice discount. So please come.
Yes.
But a few last minute things. I think one, have fun. That's at least for me. If I can't have fun in my business, we've taken the struggle to have our own business and the hustle. Have fun. I think two, always be learning and be curious. For me, there's a lot that I know. Personal branding and things is kind of my jam. I can always learn. But going back to finance, I'll say I go to conferences, events, so I can learn because it's a weak area. So always be learning. I think three, the power of networking and getting out of your comfort zone. Like today, I've known Ariel for a while. She's known me for a while. Let's do something together and try it and say hello. So I think being able to do that, you never know where things can lead and what happens. So have fun, learn, get out of your comfort zone, and do Facebook Lives.
So I want to thank all of you for coming and joining us today. We'll be sharing this later, so if you missed part of it or you missed the beginning, don't worry, we'll have it up there. I want to thank Ramon so much for coming. And for all of you talking about education, you can go to ondeck.com/resources. We have a ton of articles specifically about business financing, about just finance and budgeting in general, and marketing and sales, and tons of other topics that I think you'll find really helpful. So we look forward to seeing you on a future Facebook Live, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.